Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone to the policy. What did you say? Wait. No, go. Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone to the Policy and Legislative Meeting on Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. And we thank you for your interest in the work of the State Board of Education. We do have a quorum this morning for our committee. And we are grabbing that list right now to recognize any visitors. Thank you so much. We do have some visitors I would like to recognize this morning. We have Mr. Jay Bagley. Mrs. Oh my gosh, I know it's so hard whenever I'm looking at the names and I haven't had them in front of me. So please forgive me if I pronounce things incorrectly. But Miss Budher. She's waving me on. I'm sorry. Thank you. With Teach Right USA, Miss Williams with Teach Right USA, and Miss Keeney with Adams and Reese. And so we appreciate you being here with us today for our meeting. Committee members, you have before you the minutes from our June 13th, 2023 committee meeting. Are there any revisions? Hearing none, do we have any objections to fully approving those minutes as they were presented? Hearing none, those are unanimously approved. Is there any objection to approving the agenda as presented to you today? Hearing none, that agenda is approved by unanimous consent. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment today. We have one item for approval on today's committee agenda. We have Miss Lisa McClement, and I hope I said it. McClimate. See, this is not my day on that. Okay, I'm going to get that right next time. I know. With the Office of Special Education in the Division of College and Career Readiness, here with us today to present the first reading of proposed amendments to our State Board of Education regulation regarding criteria for entry into programs of special education for students with disabilities. So we'll move right into that. Yes, please. Thank you.
So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, the Office of Special Education Services, we are asking to update and revise 43243.1, which is the criteria for entry into special education. We fall under IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. 13 categories under IDEA are the 13 categories we're looking at in updating in that amendment to that regulation. It was last updated in 2011, quite a while ago. There have been definitely changes in research. There have been updates and guidance from the United States Department of Ed Office of Special Education Programs, and we are aligning with their guidance and updating with the research. Questions?
Are there any questions from our committee members?
Can I ask one question?
Yes, Ms. Johnson.
Sure.
In reviewing that, it appears instead of being very specific on the guidelines, it's more general now?
The criteria has always been part of regulation. The evaluation procedures are up to an IEP a team of folks in the district, an IEP team that is deciding what assessments, more specific information. The criteria is, you're evaluating a child, you're doing a multitude of different assessments, and then you're taking that information that you gathered from those assessments and looking at, do they meet that criteria?
38 years in special education, so I'm very
Awesome.
familiar with that. What I question is the differences that will be seen from district to district or school psychologist to school psychologist, because the guidelines now are more general than specific as to who qualifies, and I guess who does not. Of course, with deaf, or blind, those are more pretty specific. The guidelines don't have
Right.
to be. But the others seem, autism is one that,
Well, and I think, autism in 2013 in the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, it became autism spectrum disorder, and that is one reason we are updating the criteria. So no longer is it is Asperger's or PDD, pervasive developmental disorder, used. It's all autism spectrum disorder. It falls under one category, high functioning autism to low functioning autism. So, some of that has changed in removing those categories that the mental health field doesn't use anymore, and to align with a diagnosis that a child may get that's outside of the school setting. So, it's kind of become, look like three categories now, down to just the autism. A lot hasn't, the language has changed a bit, just, updated. In that original seed document that we have, in the criteria there, some haven't, there's some areas that haven't changed differently. Some have stayed very similar to what was there. We did get a lot of feedback from the Office of Special Education Programs, especially where vision and hearing were concerned, where, we were limited, making it very specific. You had to have, hearing or vision of 20/200 to qualify. And, for the Office of Special Education Programs, their guidance was that we are restricting a team's ability to qualify a student for special ed because you have to have this very specific vision number. But their view is that any child with a vision issue that impacts their ability to access and progress in the general education setting can be considered a disability. So that has been some of our guidance, that when you're too restrictive, you're not giving a team the ability to determine if that disability is impacting a child's ability in the classroom. So that's some of the guidance and why some of that, has gotten to where there is a little more flexibility. There's it's not as restrictive, giving a team in a district the ability to look at how the impact is affecting a child specifically, each individual child with their own unique needs. If that's helpful.
Thank you. And I believe too, as far as the timeline, I know that you had shared with us in September, written comments would be due.
Right.
And then we'll be able to have that public hearing with the second reading, right?
Correct.
Okay, wonderful. Are there any other questions?
I've got one question.
Yes, Mr. Harrington?
What's the percentage of the student body that are determined to be, on average in South Carolina, be special needs?
And I can not 100% sure on this current school year, but the 2023 school year, we had 13.6% of South Carolina students receiving special education services. The national average is around 16%. So,
You think the new regulations increase the percentage or decrease the percentage?
I don't think they'll change the percentage a whole lot. I think they're just more reflective of being more accurate when we're looking at putting a label on a child. Just as an example, our intellectual disability criteria previously allowed a team to determine if a child had an intellectual disability by any one of the, when you look at an IQ test, you're looking at visual reasoning, verbal reasoning, working memory, fluid reasoning. A score of 70 or below in any one of those four areas would have allowed a child to qualify with an intellectual disability. Each one of those four areas only has 2 subtests. So we're making a determination of an intellectual disability on a child by 2 subtests that they've taken. You know, research has really, over the last 20 years, told us that the only score that's really accurate on an IQ test is that full-scale IQ score, because it takes into account 8 subtests to get that score of 70 or below that we would need to qualify a child. You know, having 1 score below 70 and 3 scores above 70, and to say that that child has an intellectual disability, in my conscience, is not a good thing. You know, we want to be able to say a child has an intellectual disability, given the most accurate research out there. That full-scale IQ score is the most valid score that we have. You know, when we label a child with a disability, that label changes that child's life trajectory for forever. You know, you can say, we can say we're not going to, you know, we're going to follow all the laws and not single out this child as a disability, but every student in a school knows what that classroom is down the hall where those children get pulled out to go every day. So it's a tough decision that a team needs to make, and it has to be as accurate of a decision as a team can make.
That determination made on average at what grade level?
It just depends on the disability, you know.
May come to school with a diagnosis.
Pardon me?
May come to school with a diagnosis of disability.
They may come to school with a diagnosis. They may have a, you know, a chromosomal condition that they were born with, that, you know, they've come to school with a diagnosis. It could be typically kindergarten, first, second grade, in the lower grades, you know, when the school notices the difficulties the child is having. So it's usually in the early grades.
So for the IQ test to be valid, you have to be able to read to do that, is that right?
No, it's not a test that,
Nonverbal.
it's a nonverbal, right, correct.
Any other questions for Ms. Clement? All right. Hearing no other questions, is there a motion to approve the first reading within our committee?
Madam Chair, I got a question before I'll make the motion.
Sure. Yes, please.
I think because this is a regulation, it has to go to full board
It
for the
will.
first reading.
We are not going to put it on our consent agenda, so we'll
Should I
just,
make the motion that we put it on the full board agenda?
that would be
for-
great, and we have it ready for that today. So I'd love that to be part of your motion.
I
Thank you,
move
Mr.
that we
Walters.
put the proposed amendment on the full board agenda for first reading this afternoon.
Thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Walters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. O'Shields. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. We all, thank you so much. And we appreciate you later today being able to share also with the full board at that time that we vote on that. We do have one other bit of business today for information on our agenda. We have Ms. Jewel Stanley with the Office of Federal and State Accountability and the Division of College and Career Readiness with us today to present the 22-23 report of the accreditation of school districts in South Carolina. Oh, wait, maybe not. Yes.
We may have had a inter-office or intra-office miscommunication, and I'm told she's on her way down, but that was a few minutes ago.
Okay.
We're cool.
Well, I think we just we'll have a brief few minutes right now, and you have that that you were provided with. So if you want to review that while we wait on her to come downstairs to share with us. Okay, wonderful. All right, we'll come back together, and Ms. Stanley will be able to present for us the accreditation report.
Good morning to you all. As you have before you, you have the accreditation report for the 22-23 school year. Just to remind you that option 1 for accreditation through the South Carolina Department of Education is awarded by meeting the standards in the definition of the defined program and current statutes and regulations. Option 2 is accreditation through an accrediting entity accepted by Higher Ed. And before you, you will see that we have 3 districts in the state that are accredited through option 1, and The remainder are covered through Cognia for option 2. There are 71 of those districts. And then, of course, the agency completed 20 compliance monitoring this year. And with that, we have all clear statuses for Dillon 3, Hampton County District, and Palmetto Unified that were covered through option 1. And the rest of the districts, the other 71, were covered through Cognia. They also received an all clear status. As we move forward and look at the districts that were monitored for compliance, you will also see in the report, starting on page 7 through pages 8, that all of those districts also received an all clear status. Are there any questions for me today?
Yes, Ms. Frierson?
And your report is just beautiful. I'm just trying to understand how a district can be monitored and all clear at the same time can be, well, I guess I got it, accredited and Cognia. One, the same district can be all cleared and accredited, but at the same time is being monitored and clear.
We're looking at two different items when we're looking
So
through.
they're different.
Yes, ma'am.
Got you. It just went over my head.
I'm sorry. I'll try to make it clear in the next
No,
report
no,
for you.
you're good. I think I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good.
Thank
As long as it's all clear and they're doing well. Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Stanley? Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here today and sharing the information with us. We appreciate it. We do not have anything to add to the consent agenda because we will move the amendments to the proposed amendments to the regulation to our full board meeting later today to vote. So is there any other business to come before our committee this morning? Hearing none, we will adjourn.